Hey everybody, In Anime here, and wow, Wonder Egg Priority Episode 6 Punch Drunk Day. Boy did I feel punch drunk after watching this episode. WEP really continues to throw so much at us as the series goes along. Episode 6 introduced us to the haters, the Pokemon like Pomanders, and it keeps piling on the questions without offering too many answers. But this video is going to focus more on Ai and her awakening, and whether this episode gave me more evidence on whether Mr. Sawaki truly is a villain in the story, or if he's been absolved. And for the record, I am trying my best with the pronunciation of the names, so bear with me. But if you're ready, pull up a chair and let's discuss. So, I don't want to get too involved with every element in this episode, because the beauty of Wonder Egg Priority, without trying to sound too highbrow, is that this is an advanced type of anime. I commend every fan of it because we can enjoy the amazing fights and appreciate the gorgeous artwork, but this is also an anime that makes us think. Every frame is layered with meaning, and we could pull a lot out of it, and that's exactly what I did. First, Yae. Yae is the girl that Ai is trying to protect in this episode, and we need to focus on the parallel between the two, because it helps us understand the awakening that Ai experiences at the end of the episode. Yae is a girl who can see the dead, and during her lifetime she was ostracized for it. So much so that she was thrown into a mental institution where the resentment of the people there was far worse than any spirit she had encountered. The parallel here is the feeling of not being believed. Ai is going through a lot in her home life. Her mom has announced that she and Mr. Sawaki are forming a romantic relationship, and Ai takes this pretty hard. When this is discussed between Ai and her friends, one of the conclusions is that she has feelings for Mr. Sawaki, which would explain her disapproval of the new relationship. She denies any sort of feelings, but her friends have already cast judgment. And this helps keep Mr. Sawaki on my suspect radar. We hear the theory from Niru, and Rika can't help but find glee in that proposal. Then we get multiple denials from Ai, which makes her seem like she is trying to hide the fact that the girls have hit the nail on the head. But I see it from a different perspective. I think that Ai was mad at Mr. Sawaki, because she had her friend in Koito, her only friend in fact, and slowly Koito was being pulled away from Ai. She was spending more time with Mr. Sawaki and getting closer to him, meaning less time being spent with Ai. That would explain why she was so hesitant to help Koito when she was bullied. It's one of those situations where you're mad at your friend about something, and then when something misfortunate happens to them, you feel like they deserve it, when it's really your own jealousy and insecurity fueling those thoughts and emotions. And by misfortunate, I mean the bullying, not her committing suicide. Now getting back to Yae, the true parallel here is how neither she nor Ai are believed. And by that, I mean Yae claiming she could see the dead, and Ai not being believed by her friends that she isn't in love with Mr. Sawaki. And this is a direct metaphor for girls' trauma as a whole. Throughout history, girls' problems tend to be thrown under the rug, and when their problems are presented, it's usually disregarded and put off as something that's all in their head, which, for Yae, is symbolically presented as a spirit because it's invisible or not there. And when the Wonder Killer does appear, Yae frighteningly shouts that the boss is already here. Ai is thrown through a wall, and who is the person she sees in the first of several intercut scenes? Mr. Sawaki, the boss. This is why I continue to believe that he is more villainous than he comes off as. I interpret the battle as the starting point for Ai's realization that while she is fighting monsters in the Wonder World, she has to deal with one in her world. And the totem, so to speak, for bringing Ai to this awakening is the prayer beads. The prayer beads are a very important symbol in this episode. In the Wonder World, they help Ai finally see the invisible Wonder Killer, and being seen was enough to defeat it. And on a side note, there is another layer here. The Wonder Killer is an elephant. It is the elephant in the room, and she finally confronts the elephant, which makes it disappear. If you translate that back to the real world, Mr. Sawaki, the boss, is the elephant that needs to be confronted, and we're about to get to that. The beads become a powerful tool for Ai in the real world. They are the first item she grabs out of the bath when she decides to run to school and confess to Mr. Sawaki. Why? Because they are a holy item, and she is about to confront her demon, so to speak. Now, you would be lying if you said you didn't think she was going to confess her love to Mr. Sawaki, because the whole episode and animation set it up so well for that to be the case. However, her confession was that she was going to go back to school. But the beads can mean a few things. On the one hand, They are a symbol of Ai conquering her insecurities and being awakened to the fact that she can't hide from the world and be invisible anymore. Look at the cinematography. She brushes her hair out of her eye, no longer hiding that insecurity and seeing the world in a new light. Also, again metaphorically, the beads are going to help her confront the ghosts that have been haunting her and stopping her from finding out the truth about Koito. However, on the other hand, this is a unique situation where an item from the Wonder World has been pulled into the real world. And bear with me because this is a long shot theory, but I think they could be used as a tool. A tool that would literally allow Ai to confront the ghost of Koito, considering the school is where she died. That's a stretch and unlikely, but this show pulls no stops, and we are already dealing with the supernatural. And while the Wonder World allows the girls to confront the spirits of the dead in a physical form, why wouldn't she be able to confront a spirit in the real world, especially with these prayer beads? Anyway, that's where I'm going to stop because I'm bordering on the line of crazy. But what I love and hate about this show is there's so much to pay attention to, and it really makes me rethink what I had already concluded. And this episode alone has so much more to talk about. There's symbolism in the Pokemon-like creatures that they get, and just so much more that could go on. But anyway, what are your thoughts? Do you think Mr. Sawaki is a predator? Do you think he's still suspect? Do you think Ai actually does love him? What are your general thoughts as a whole? Let me know in the comments below, and please like and subscribe. I'm in anime, and I'm out. Anime.